thank you. I'm Dilli Giri from Nepal. I have a short question to Nicaraguan friend. You are talking about rural areas and renewable technology for rural areas, under this climate fund. Can you just elaborate something about your end delivery mechanism and how people are getting this fund at the end level? Who is selecting the technology, and is there any regulator or not, and how your quality is being assured? The end consumer is getting good qualities, supply or deliveries.
So if we start with those, let the panelists respond. So, yeah.
I will try to elaborate a little bit. Well, Open Government is an initiative that started with the purpose of change the quality of life of citizens. So the Paris Agreement and the Open Government Partnership has this bridge on transparency, and this new Paris Agreement has key specific issues that can be improved within the open government. So I think that older countries, even if they are not part of the Open Government Partnership, they have to look for these open government initiatives and try to look which initiatives they can work together with the government in order to ensure transparency in climate finance. So this is why open government is a new door, a new opportunity for enhance and strengthen climate finance transparency.
I think the first question was very well leveled, because definitely it's not just about tracking. In Kenya, for example, we link the tracking of project financing and classify it as climate finance through a tool, what we call the e-promise. The e-promise is an electronic project management tool that require that all projects are reported. And then within the tool, now there is software that is tracking the climate related. That is on the side of the project management. Then that is now linked with the expenditure tool, which is referred as IFMIS, Financial Management Information System, which now track the expenditure within what was reported. But that is not the end, because at the end, then we link the resources with the results, and in future with the impact. It's not just about the result, because the result is very short term. So definitely it's a work that is in progress, but it's not limited to just knowing the figures where from and where. It must be linked with the final impact at a certain level, because most of the projects that are being going through this are not, the minimum is about 3-5 years if it is from this capacity. But if it is in terms of investment, the investment in renewable energy is about 10-15 years to see a difference. So the tracking will continue on that. But on the second question, the OGP is very key, because that openness, and one of the key things is that the reporting also should include climate finance. When governments will be making their reports during the OGP conference, they also need to have indicators and report. And that renewable energy is very key in this. And I think in the tools that we will definitely need to continue developing tools that will link the delivery, the accessibility, and also the quality of life we just
Bueno, para aclarar un poquito, yo quise poner este ejemplo del Cambio climático de Nicaragua, no como una manera de acusar, sino simplemente para ver de qué manera podemos mejorar la transparencia y la rendición de cuentas, y sobre todo la participación de la población. Cuando me preguntan cómo garantizan que estos proyectos en zona aislada son realmente sostenibles, pues eso lo garantizar con la participación de la gente, elaborando planes locales con las poblaciones, escuchando sus necesidades y viendo sus perspectivas de futuro. Obviamente siempre los gobiernos tienen sus planes de desarrollo y ellos están buscando cómo alcanzar esos planes, pero siempre es importante escuchar a la gente. Creo que nuestro rol como sociedad civil y el rol ejemplar del gobierno mundial es de que la población sea escuchada para que esas iniciativas y este financiamiento logre una verdadera sostenibilidad. obviamente nuestro rol como sociedad civil no puede ser únicamente atacar, investigar, querer saber qué pasa, sino que tiene que ser un proceso de diálogo, ¿no? Tiene que haber un proceso de diálogo a nivel nacional. Los gobiernos tienen que abrirse de alguna manera porque eso garantiza que el país pueda desarrollarse de la mejor manera, ¿no? Y que las poblaciones puedan desarrollarse de la mejor manera. Y creo que es importante, ¿no? que el financiamiento climático a todos los niveles, a nivel local, a nivel nacional y a nivel internacional, los gobiernos sean abiertos, la sociedad civil está interesada en participar y en que se escuche la posibilidad.
So we've got time for a couple more questions, and I'm just going to warn the panel now that when we wrap up at the end, I'm going to give you a minute each of what the gaps still are, what we all have to work on next.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentations. All of them were really, really enlightening, so thank you very much for that. And Julia, also from US. Reflecting on the first question again, I would like to bring that back a little bit, because we have touched upon the open government partnership, and maybe the collective actions contain relevant points. We can work with national action plans around this, being better at formulating commitments that would actually address the problem. Now, I'm still searching a little bit, and I was wondering if some of you can help me understand. If I look at the mosaic of available information and data sources that we do have to track climate finance, because there are some, and Claire, in your first presentation, you kind of alluded to the mess that is behind your findings, because there's some data that are not there. So I was wondering if you could reflect a little bit, like if the open data community is going to rally around this new agenda, where is the black box, or where is the kind of data set, the kind of information we should all be focusing on that may make your life to track this so much better, especially when you think about the allocation, where really the rubber hits the road. Like, how do we make that information available that enables us to understand whether or not people most needed get the money that, or receive the services they need, and include participation, make participation possible. That's something that really emerged, I think, very strongly at this panel, that it's about the participation that we right now cannot.
Yeah, thanks for the presentations. I have one question after also listening to many questions over this last week, because what I see from the Open Government Partnership is that the approach is more on a general level to get information and data transparency. On the other hand, I think climate finance is such a broad issue. Would it be useful to say, okay, yes, the approach is a more general transparency of data, but we want to focus on a few pointers like adaptation, like renewable energy for rural areas, for the poor people. So do we need to define some of those important issues to be part of the outcomes of the transparency from our government partnerships agreements?
To Kenya, you seem to be made some progress on climate change and climate change finance. My question is on the priorities in maybe application of projects. It could be from bilateral, multilateral funds. So how do you ensure stakeholders' involvement in such application? Because I've seen most of developing countries, the ideas are just coming from few individuals at the responsible office. And then how do you handle the situation where a multilateral implementing entity, it could be a private bank, coming up with a project for you just to approve to implement, which maybe most of the time is not a country priority. And then the second issue is just could be the civil society representative, or maybe Sandra could share her experience. We are also doing some tracking in our country, so just want to hear from you, what are the major challenges that you encounter in your country in such processes? Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to go a little bit in technical part, in particular in the baseline data, because in order to track these climate funds, first of all, we need to know like what kind of procurement that they have been doing, so that we can have a kind of term of reference of this project, what it's going to be. And then importantly, I think we need to have some kind of like standard price, standard cost, because the experience in Thailand that they deliver the infrastructure or the services, but it's not in the quality of dimension in the term of reference, and then sometimes it's too expensive. How can you believe that this is going to have these high costs and then the quality is so low?
Okay, so if the panelists would like to just make a couple of remarks, responding to the last set of questions, and just what the future direction is. Got a minute each. Do you want to go first, Mark?
Thanks for the great questions. Very quickly, I think there's a real need to join up different initiatives that we've been hearing about. There's also those initiatives which are focused on tracking corruption risk from some of the TI chapters, so better joining together of all the different things happening in different parts of the world and different levels of geography. A second one is a platform presented by the new NDC partnership. Presents a really good platform for data aggregation at the international level. Where it's imperfect, of course, is at the national level. And that's why you do need much better tracking and coding systems. A lot of this work is quite technical in nature. And finally, I like the point about prioritization. I think you're right. I do think the balance of interest, for the most part, seems to lie more in adaptation finance at the national level, rather than all forms of adaptation finance at the international. But that's simply my judgment on what I've been hearing over these few days. The proof will be in the pudding in terms of, for the working group at least, in the UGP, about what those members eventually want.
Thank you. Well, I think we have to connect the dots, as Mark said. We have to take advantage of all that initiatives, but in terms of climate finance, I think that governments and civil society must to be really engaged, and governments have to create this political thing on create the strategies on climate finance and define their priorities, so after that we can see which information is necessary not to obtain and where is not that information, so we can improve all that.
Bueno, para la pregunta de qué tipo de información es un problema importante de rastrear, obviamente los trabajos que hemos hecho a nivel local nos indican que la prioridad para la población es la adaptación. Somos un país que nos afecta el cambio climático y que en realidad emitimos muy pocas emisiones de gases de efecto invernadero. Por lo tanto, la prioridad de la población es cómo adaptarse, ¿no? Cómo ser más resiliente al cambio climático. Por lo tanto, el financiamiento que viene de los fondos climáticos debería de enfocarse más en la acción. En el tema de energía, bueno, nuestra matriz energética ha venido cambiando en los últimos años y se han hecho buenos esfuerzos por parte del gobierno. Pero es necesario llegar a esas poblaciones que no tienen acceso. ¿No? La última brecha de las poblaciones sin acceso son las más difíciles, son las que están en las zonas más altas del país. Entonces, por lo tanto, la inversión en energía en zonas aisladas es la prioridad para la población. Los retos para rastrear la información, para rastrear la inversión climática es obtener información. También muchas veces cuando se habla de financiamiento climático se piensa que toda esta información la puedes encontrar en los ministerios de ambiente, cuando realmente está en los ministerios de energía. Y a nivel nacional a veces es muy difícil conseguir información. A veces es más fácil conseguir la información de los fondos internacionales porque ellos sí los publican en las plataformas. Entonces saber hacia dónde se colocaron estos fondos y en qué ministerio está es lo que implica más el trabajo.
Great, thank you very much. We've run out of time, so I'm not going to seek to wrap up, but it's been, for me anyway, sitting in London, often worrying about this thing, it's